You're listening to The Monks.
You're here with the monks. I'm Heather.
And I'm Josh.
Thank you for tuning in.
You did good. And I'm Josh.
Do I go again? I'm Heather.
And I'm Joshua.
I guess not. Thanks for tuning in.
Oh my gosh. Thanks so much for anyone listening or watching, honestly. Heather, we've been getting pretty serious about self-care regimen.
Yeah, I guess so.
I've never put so many just lotions and potions on my face. We're up to 4 or 5. Mm-hmm. 4 or 5. And I know that people are probably like, and that's his face, huh? 4 or 5. I said, I just started putting 4 or 5. I look at it now because it's going to be completely different in say 6 months to a year. You're gonna be like, who even is this? Yeah. Can you say what all they are?
What? Yes.
The face, like the potions and the lotions for the face.
Yes, I believe I can, but I'm not as good as probably the continents, knowing those.
Okay.
We put a snail serum on.
Mm-hmm. Is that out of Korea?
I believe
so. Is that
right?
Yeah.
And then if it's just a regular, night, I'll just put lotion on top of that, like moisturizer.
Mm-hmm. But if it's a party night,
like
if you're like, let's treat ourselves. Yeah. What are you doing if you're not just slapping lotion over your snail goo?
I'm putting under eye.
Yeah. Is there a bigger cream racket than the lotion
on my little, like where I am gonna wrinkle?
Where you're gonna, God, that's so annoying. Where you're gonna, look at this. I literally, you know how I map it when I do the retinol? I fill them in like I'm caulking a tub. I just go, all right, there we go. Get a little touch here. And when whenever I lose the thread, I just crinkle them back. Oh boy. I start hammering this. I go deep in here.
You have to,
There's no that's going to do anything for me.
That loosens up this.
No.
And then you do.
No, I'm doing this like almost.
And you push. You always go up.
Yeah.
Up, so you're defying gravity.
Yeah. Me doing it really feels like I'm like, this is true faith. Like I'm like, I don't know, maybe doing something. But it is so funny to me that you're like, I'm trying to stave off these little bitty fine lines, and I just go in and shellac. Like I'm like, yep, that'll do it. So we got the eye cream, we got the retinol. Is there anything else that's going on the face?
Moisturizer.
Daily moisturizer. Right? Mm-hmm. That's self-care. Mm-hmm. You got décolletage.
Yeah, and then you have to. This doesn't help me. I have my little.
No, you have your
job, but always doing that.
Oh yeah, you have a beautiful face.
We'll see.
Hey,
oh, thank you.
Yeah. Well, it's working for you. So I'm like, all right, let me get involved. I also just started doing another thing. Like I've done it, the next thing, because people are like, what is there? I've done it, obviously. But I've really started to make it a point. I'm like, I'm going to be consistent with this. And it's flossing. Mm-hmm. It's like, we're not just doing it for show.
It makes me upset, honestly, that you're just taking this up. And
Why?
The reason that you're taking it up now just
forever you've been like, you need to floss. Like it really can lead to like disease and stuff. And what finally did it was I heard Sarah Silverman mention it a couple of times. I was like, this must be pretty serious. I saw her mention it in an interview, and then I saw it like written in Judd Apatow's interview book. I was like, she mentioned this in at least a couple interviews. This is serious. Like,
I thank her because I don't want you to also have.
I think that's crazy, though. I think that's crazy. It's like whenever they said that Capone, was just like brain melted by syphilis because he was afraid of needles. Mm-hmm. Like isn't that funny? Like just a side note, like completely separate thing. But I go, how fear is so subjective. Mm-hmm. Most people who can take a flu shot or get treated for syphilis would be like, I'd be very scared to be a crime kingpin in Chicago during gangland like wars. And he's like, I cannot get it. I can't take this medicine. And that rotted his brain.
My grandma lived around the corner when she was younger to him.
From Capone?
Mm-hmm. In Chicago.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm. Around the block.
Did she ever say she saw him? Mm-hmm. She saw him for real?
I just assumed, I guess.
But she didn't say
Should
that.
I just say, yes, she has passed away? No,
Yeah.
no. Yeah, she totally saw him.
She probably
Maybe
did,
she
though.
carried packages for him in
I
this
feel like
version.
she did. I think
No.
back then it was like he had nothing going on. That's why everybody, when Elvis was famous, was like, no, my grandmother saw him. I'm like, everybody's just outside seeing stuff. Your grandma was probably outside going like, oh, I wonder what the energy was like when he came around the block. Because I feel like I know this country, and for a lot of it, it was probably like pretty positive. You know what I mean? Like, this guy's been in newspapers. Like, we're going to probably give him a clap or something like that. So I'd say that's the opposite of self-care. Like, when you won't get treated for syphilis to the point that it just takes your brain away. That's not self-care. That's why I'm flossing. I don't want to get caponed. I don't want my heart to pop there's just something so weird about that. Like, I always, for some reason, envision, like, when you finally go, they play back exactly how you could have avoided it. Like, you could have had 40 good more years. Like, you didn't floss. And I go, is it flaws or floss? It's flaws. Oh, it's floss. Okay. No, I didn't floss. Speaking of self-care, I don't know if this is self-care. To me, it's not. I have a pretty strong opinion on this, but it's something. It's something in the vein of like a self-care that young men are shaving or having their eyelashes shaved down or off. Or cut with like barber. Like I saw videos where it was like barbers, clippers, and barbers. You know,
I've been cut on the neck.
I've been clipped on an ear numerous times. Like, these people are not like perfect. Just gonna lose an eye. First, all right. Just what do you think whenever I tell you anybody is doing that? Like, are you like, oh, that makes sense?
Well, first of all, I would say they are of the male variety.
They are.
Immediately.
Well, they
Okay,
are, and
okay.
I had said that.
Did you?
Yeah, and that may just make her part of the female variety, not listening to me, not wanting to learn a thing from me.
Okay.
I bet he was a dumb man. I said he was a man. Oh, well, still.
I'm for it then.
You're for it. Oh, just so women can know when they see it coming.
Yeah,
Whoa, there's some loose eyeballs.
It's the more you mark yourself, the more we go pass.
Yeah.
Thank you, move. We got it. I don't even need to waste the second of conversation.
Me? Oh man, he can't. It's like I can't tell if he's blinking. I can't tell anything that's going on over there. He's got no lashes, no lash game.
So
His eyes are running because lashes are there to keep dust out of them and debris. He's just filled with debris. Masculine. That was the reason they did it. They said they wanted to appear more masculine. That long lashes were like like feminine. And I said, one, who cares? Right? Like, who cares? Like, how many?
I think it's
for
beautiful
ages.
if a man has long lashes.
Yeah.
I think your lashes are so gorgeous.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, just fluttering away.
I've always
Just
been proud that I had long lashes.
flutter
I was
'em.
like, yeah, these are great.
Give us a show.
Getting catcalled here. Ooh la la. Make it be a little butterfly. Get out here and dance around on dandelions with those things. Flutter, flutter. Just, I don't know who that is. Just like an old woman, like, construction site. Make them dance. We want to see them old lashes get popping. There he go. There he goes. Slow it down. You don't got to do them so fast. Then somebody walks by. Ain't no lashes there at all. This is the most manliest man that ever manned. I think seriously, don't do it, guys. I don't understand some of these trends. I don't understand.
Do it. Please do it. If you feel you need to,
These are young.
You need
these are young men. They don't need to. Don't do it. It's so obvious. And if you're a barber, don't do it. Like, for real, you're gonna take someone's eye. You're gonna lose your whole business. So many of these trends get popping, man. Ice plunges, ice tank plunges, the cold plunges.
Yeah, I know what they are.
Ice cube dunkings.
I've heard of them.
Where are they? Where are they? I haven't heard anybody talking about brown fat to me. I was inundated with this stuff for like a year.
Do you think they think, okay, in a year when we inundate them, we're gonna get who we're gonna get? don't need to further. No one's going to go after they've seen it that many times.
I would think that. And that, see, that's how we all think. When we see something insane, we always spin a conspiracy that some group or person is much smarter than we ever deal with on a day-to-day. We're always like, oh my God, and then they did this. And I go, no, because I saw guys who were like advertising. I'm talking like in construction, meaning we're pulling permits, we're doing special stuff, we're ordering crap from other places. And they were like installing custom, and I go, that means this guy really thought this was gonna be a part of his business or her business. Like, it's like, nah, I don't think there was any. I bet he's like, I'm upside down on these cold plunge. Nobody wants them. They said they're too cold. What those? Look at the cold plunge.
Yeah, but you didn't say like extra cold or like really, really cold.
They're saying it's crazy cold. It's, please. I'm up to my eyes.
You didn't even say ice cold.
Oh, no,
cold.
it's ice bad. I don't know. It's very cold.
It's just cold plunge, but you should say ice cold plunge. I would think, ooh, that's real cold.
And there'd be all the videos of guys like breaking through the ice, and they go like, I live in Wisconsin and I'm doing my ice.
Yeah, and by the video, I could identify that's too cold for me. Mm-hmm. I
was
only
like,
need
you're
this
already
many
cold.
ads to decide I'm not going to do it.
Yep. But for real, I saw that everywhere, and now it's nowhere. Is there anything else on the self-care tip that was real big? So we got our lotions and potions that I feel like everybody's on that game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Everybody's on that game. You got your cold plunge. Is there anything else that you're like, oh, that really, people were really going on that? I can't really think of anything else. Well, that's always a cycle.
I mean.
Yeah. I guess just then you get into like cosmetic stuff, right? Because you have those kind of like gateway cosmetic things, which I would consider to be like Botox fillers. To me, that's a gateway drug. Am I wrong about that? It's like you're not going under the knife, but you're augmenting, like and that's like you're getting stuck. You're paying a actual pain price at that point. And then the next step is like now we're starting to do like rhinoplasties, lipo, BBLs, and
I think those are even a step further.
Those are like full body things.
Well, the BBLs are the Brazilian butt lifts, and that's the highest death rate. Plastic surgery.
Is it really? Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Is it still like a very low chance that would happen, but it's just like I don't know. Just said a super scary thing. And
no, I did see a doctor.
No, I believe you. I'm just like, I was just like, that's usually how we get information in general. We're like, oh boy.
I didn't ask for more specifics. I said,
can't ask it. Can't ask a clip for anything more. That makes sense. It's probably just because it's maybe because it's very invasive. Like, it's touching on a lot of different areas of the body. We watched 1,000-Pound Sisters, and Tammy just had her, second skin removal on that show. And this is a person who was
this is her first. Oh,
no, it was like her second.
You're right.
Because she was over, for anybody who doesn't watch, anybody who's not in the 1,000-Pound universe, which is ever expanding. Now we have 1,000-Pound roommates.
And 1,000-Pound best friends. I love it.
Who's going to be the Thanos in that? Who's like going to, anyway. But she was over 700 pounds, and now she's down to like 200. And they're like basically going to take enough skin where she'll probably get down into the ones. I think she actually did. But one of the biggest things is it's like a team of surgeons to keep the time frame at it was still like 8 or 9 hours to do. I think it was like her arms and her under here and her face and all this stuff. But what's crazy is their biggest fear is just the amount of body that you're touching on. Like it's just so much open wound that could get an infection or something like that. I wonder if Brazilian butt lift is kind of in that, not that extreme, but that's kind of the concern. Because they're very popular. They're very popular. I would say at least a year or two ago, they're probably the most popular, or at least the thing you heard the most buzz on. I don't know. Most popular would probably be something less, if you're talking about like the amount of them is, I would say probably like rhinoplasties and things like that are probably more common. Would you ever do, because I've been thinking about this as I get older. If you would ask me in my 20s, I would have never said that I would do any kind of like nip tuck type thing. Maybe. I don't know.
Would you do Botox or filler?
No, probably not.
I know. I wouldn't. I would be more afraid of that than I would get a nose job. And the first time I heard about a nose job was from Spaceballs, whenever they're threatening the dad, the king, and they say, "Well, give your daughter back her old nose."
And you're like, why would she
and
have?
I was like, "Ooh, it looks so much better." I need that.
You have a great nose.
No, I have smashed a pool or two.
With the old snaz.
I've done a real hard push and forgot what size pool I'm in.
Yeah. That'll happen.
Yeah.
Bang, right on the old thing. Would you ever do like one of those? You get a little older?
I would do, yes. Just right here, though.
Yeah?
Probably not like
I think
this.
I'd wait for this.
Yeah.
I want to go here with it. Yeah. Now, I'm so scared of medical stuff, I wouldn't ever have an elective. But I feel like if I was normal about medical stuff, it makes more sense to me now, obviously. When you're 20, you're like, why would anybody ever bother with that?
Oh, I always felt the same. Oh. Again, I've been an old lady in a regular person body, not elderly. I
think that's probably more normal. I mean, obviously people do stuff that, in their 20s all the time, cosmetic surgery wise and stuff like that. Yeah, I don't think I could do it, but I get it. I do get it.
Well, you have a medical phobia. I would assume you wouldn't.
Yeah. But the fact that I would even entertain it, like I would try to get there, goes, oh yeah, I totally get it. If you don't have the mental hurdle that I have just around medical stuff, makes total sense. Outside of the cost, you have to kind of plan for that cost. My God. But I think that's why people do. I think, again, like gateways, it's like self-care is a gateway to then like cosmetics. I do think they work hand in hand because self-care.
Well, I think it's maybe a term that is overused or whatever, but it is nice to think about yourself and do make sure it makes you feel better about like the day.
That's true. Look good, feel good, do good. I saw somebody say that. But I was like, no, I get that. You feel a little better bopping down the street if you at least feel good in your skin. And the more things you can do to do that, I think that's valid. Like, I lost a bunch of weight back in the day. I know how it feels to like feel very uncomfortable. Even now, as I've gained some of it back, I feel that discomfort in myself where I'm like, just a little bit left of like your absolute feeling you're most confident. So I totally get it. And I totally get, I think that's the driver back to that. Now I'm starting to reverse engineer and I kind of understand the cold plunge because they're thinking if I do this, it's going to get my brain working better or my my body working better. It's going to like help me with aging or something, whatever you're after. That's what we're all chasing, right? We're like, I think for us, we always talk about like cognition. We're like, what can we do for cognition? Do we do puzzles?
Yeah. I would do a cold plunge if it were like if I had a regimen of going paddleboarding in the morning or throughout the day and jumping in. Yeah. I wouldn't want to just sit in a cold
I was gonna say head down the street.
Yeah, I know.
Pacific's right down there. Like that thing.
And we did that for New Year's.
And it was
New Year's morning.
It was noticeably cold. I mean, it was like, I think the coldest I can remember though is Tahoe.
Yes.
And I don't know if it's just because of how slow you had to enter because of the rocky bottom of the area we were going in. But man, I was just like, I've never been more aware of how cold the cold was like to the vascular system where I was like, I'm shutting down. Like I'm really starting to get tired. Like it was not good. I was like, this is like, ugh,
I know.
Too cold.
When we were paddling, the dog and I were on the same board and he was wiggling around because he didn't want to get cold, like any water on him. And then he wiggled so much I flipped over. He somehow stayed on.
Oh, yeah. Because he really didn't want to. He really didn't want to.
And I was bam. And it hurt. It was like painful, like to my hands and stuff.
And it's like, that's the only thing I don't think I can pay thousands upon thousands of dollars for that. I think you're right. Maybe I could get myself organic. That's a thing too, like fantasy life, like knowing who I am, I won't ever be this. I have come to grips with that. Those are things that you kind of realize about yourself. Like as I got in my 40s, I go, oh, that's a fantasy version. Like that's not who you are at your core. Somebody who would like go down to this water down here that's cold and like, first sign of dawn, get on my paddle board board and like paddle around.
Why does it have to be the first sign of dawn?
Whenever. But I'm saying like it's cold. It's kind of sketchy as far as the wave patterns out there. And I go, you are not the guy who's going to throw a little zinc on and like go out. But there's like moments where you go,
what about if you did it in the harbor? Would you do that?
Yeah, but even still, I need it to be like pretty like midday, like I'm gonna do it every once in a while. But what I mean is like there are those people though that you just see them day in and day out, like the charcuterie guy who's looking at the Golden Gate Bridge every day on that trail. I go, I envious of this guy.
He puts his own flag up the flagpole.
I fantasize about being this type of person, but there's this guy who just goes and sits on the trail. He's just looking at the Golden Gate Bridge almost every single day. It feels like we see him every day.
Sunset.
And he has a charcuterie and he has wine and he just sits there and like he's just taking it in. And I go, his level of calm and just enjoying that moment. Man, I wish. He's somebody that I go, look, this guy could be rich or poor. I have no idea. But I go, like, what he's experiencing in that moment, man, it's awesome. But I know myself and I go, you're not going to go there. You could do that right now. You're not going to go get a charcuterie every day. I'm thinking this guy's rich. Actually, as I say it out loud, I go, this guy gets a charcuterie every day or makes one. That's a rich people thing. Bottle of wine a day. Yeah, this guy's loaded. No wonder he's like, AI will soon take it all. Yes, friends? Like, I hope that's what he's thinking. How can I lower my workforce? I don't need this much human capital.
I like being alone, obviously.
But it is like, it's just a scene from a movie, man. You're just like, oh, that's cool. And I think whenever I see those, to me, that like I see people like that, the way that you and I, when we visit cities, go, should we move here? Like I see people's lives like that. I go, should I be a beach volleyball guy? I go, you won't even walk over and go, could I join your game? It's been so long. But you're like envisioning what? Like I'm like spinning it. Like, what's up, guys? Bill flip.
I know. I've lived a million billion lives.
Yeah.
I just love watching vignettes of people's lives and then imagining like I would own an ice cream shop.
Oh, absolutely.
What if I was just walking down the boodwalk with a little ice cream pushy cart?
Yeah. You have to let yourself do it, but you also have to realize like what do I actually want? Because I'll just be like, yeah, maybe I'm a lumberjack. Like maybe. I go, the simplicity of that. Just chop down the tree. I go, what? You don't want to be a lumberjack. You're going to be scared to death out there. What are you talking about?
Remember that vignette of the family we watched on the trolley?
Oh,
when we visited, was it when we visited?
And we have to say at this point that when we see little moments in life, we tend to call them vignettes. We're not insane.
We're not.
That's just kind of inside baseball with us that we go like, like a little vignette. I'm sure lots of people do it. But yes, it was the family on the trolley.
It was this family, they were visiting from some Scandinavian country, and two teenage daughters, mom and then dad, whose hair kind of was like as long as yours, only like gray.
Yeah.
And they were just joking and laughing on the trolley, hanging off the side like you're allowed to do. And then the dad jumps off and he's taking photos and like video of them. And the trolley starts going and he's running alongside, taking their photo, running. Yep. And all of a sudden we turn a corner and there's a massive, just upright hill, and this guy's just still laughing and running as hard as he can up this hill, taking photos, and then when it hits the top of the hill, it stops, ring ring, he jumps on. It was just such a beautiful moment for this family, and
even in the moment we were like, imagine an American dad. Like just like take yourself, like imagine one of our dads. My dad would have been like, hey, you gotta hold there, please. Hold. Your dad would have been like, they wouldn't stop the car. It would have left him.
He would be lost for.
Yeah. My dad's like, I'll get the next one. I'm going to get the next one. I'll get you up there. Just hold tight. I'm going to get the next one. Your dad's like already like calling the city. I got off the tram. The thing just left me. This is absurd what they're doing. He's low toned.
He is low toned.
Let me get in the character.
Too many pauses. We don't have time.
I'll have Pepsi. I'll have a Pepsi. No, but I was just like, oh yeah, just a typical American dad would be furious. Hey, you gotta stop, bud. You got to stop, but and they did a thing. But what would we do? We'd start being like what they could. Somebody could fall down in front of the thing, couldn't it? You shouldn't even be doing nothing because everybody could just be plopping down right in front of you, huh? And then what? I'm up here trying to take a picture. I'm running up one of these god-awful hills. Ever think about a level? Ever heard of a grading system? Level the thing. I got a deck. I put it on a hill. I leveled it. I don't walk up the thing like this. I don't climb it like a wall. You got to stop when somebody's taking a picture. I can't be the first one who did that. I can't be the first one to say this. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry, but it's too hilly for that kind of nonsense to just be. I can't be the first one who wanted to take a picture. It ain't possible. I'm sitting here going, I'm going to make a little picture. I'm going to frame it, and the frame's going to be a little rice-a-roni box. San Francisco treat. Ding, ding. Hello. And this man's going to take off. He's going to drive away. I got to climb this hill. Welcome to San Francisco, City of Angels, I guess. That's L.A. Huh?
What's the logic of it being the City of Angels to this person?
They're close. I just think that they're like, I've heard it. I know I've heard it. Where does it? Say it again. Oh, okay. Okay, yeah, you're right.
Oh, goodness. My cheeks hurt.
But yeah, he was so relaxed. The guy.
But
just so carefree.
Just like living in the moment.
That's why we were like Scandinavian or something. Like who's got healthcare? Like European, France, I don't know. You're somewhere that you're like somewhat getting basic human needs because like you're too light.
Yeah.
We're a little heavier here. Mm-hmm. We're like, with that's why the dads in America freak out like that on vacation. They ain't had a vacation in forever. They're not the French taking 6 weeks off, like just floating around everywhere having a good. They're like, I got a week and a half every 3 years. Yeah. And my kids wanted to come here because they saw Full House on Netflix. Thanks a lot. Okay. I work in a factory, dude.
Oh my goodness.
I was going to say another thing about elective surgeries is it's almost, for at least the healthcare system that we're kind of used to, it's almost more fair. At least you get to shop.
Yeah.
You get to shop, you get to find who you like, you get to really find out credentials, and you get to figure out what you are willing to pay. And I feel like our real healthcare system, it's so hard. Mm-hmm. It's so hard. Like just trying, like you will send people into a tailspin no matter how good their insurance is if you're just like, hey, just make an appointment. Like, just figure out a way to make an appointment. They're like, I love the like, oh, your primary care likes to do a meet and greet, and those are 3 months out, and then about 9 years from now, we'll get you in for some routine labs. And you're like, what? They push you to telemedicine. Mm-hmm. They push you to telemedicine. I gave in. I saw how hard it was for you when we got up here to get appointments and stuff. And I just called the office in San Diego and was like, can I just do, I mean, nothing's really changed. Had a couple things I was going to chat with the doc about. Can I just do a thing and then just get the lab order? I mean, that's really what tells you everything, right? Mm-hmm. It's like, I'll have my office take my blood pressure and then you look at the labs and tell me if anything's going on. Mm-hmm. But that's not exactly how I think anybody would want that to go. I think in a perfect world, wouldn't you love to go into the exam room like it's a movie? They do whatever they want to, got to do in there. Not whatever they want to do. Sorry, whatever they got to do. They can do whatever they want in there. No, they can't. What? But whatever they need to do. And then like that scene, I mean, maybe it's only bad stuff, but I feel like I see in movies where they just sit across the desk and just talk to you like your people and go like, hey, we were looking at your LDL.
It's like, that's only if something's real bad, right?
Oh man, I guess so.
I've never had something.
Maybe
like
that's
that.
true. If they called you into an office right now with your experience, would you not be like, oh my God? Mm-hmm. Like you wouldn't be able to pull me off the ceiling. I'd be like, this is bad. This is really bad. Yeah, that would be terrifying actually.
But I would also think that's odd because I haven't gone to the doctor recently. So what are they? Me? Was this like, should they have told me this a year and a half ago when I was there?
That'd be really bad. They go, now you would have had a year and a half, about a year and a half ago. Sorry.
Oops.
Sorry, I'm new.
Well, I mean, that's kind of what happened to me when I was in the hospital. A new person threw my kidney stones in the trash. So then they kind of acted like I was lying.
Yeah. You were like, no, I saw stones. And they were like, could be dust. And I was like, that's still cause for pause, no? That's still cause for pause. I mean, like, dust? What? Those are just fragments. Like a stone?
Yeah.
Like, just say she like accidentally flushed it. It's okay. We're all human. It's not like you actually, because I just remember that your primary care doctor was like, actually, it would have been good to have this stone because there are different types, and it would have told us maybe a little bit more about what caused it. And I go, oh, my hopes are not even that high. I was just like, can we confirm that that's what it was? So she's not terrified that it's going to happen again, because it was such a rough experience. And it was a night before, like, go in, suffer, get sent home, and then boom, right back there. So I was just like, just even the mental of just somebody going, yeah, that was it.
Well, the first night they thought I had just a back pain because I'm just it couldn't, as the person experiencing it, possibly tell the difference between back pain, a muscle pain, and something
that's got
different.
You wailing. Like, I was like, oh, geez.
And then when they sent me home, they said it was back pain.
Yep.
As soon as I got in the car, I'm just like,
yeah, like back pain will do.
Yeah.
Honestly, back pain, that's probably she ran away of medical prognosis, right? It's like, yeah, that's some back pain. Mm-hmm. That's some back pain. Mm-hmm. That's heartburn. I feel like up front, heartburn, back, between, tinged to muscle, something like that. Boy, tell them anything's cooking up in here, and they're like, heartburn? Is it heartburn, maybe? Should maybe get a little heartburn? And I can never dispute it, because then they go like, well, say what you've eaten recently. I'm like, it's going to point to heartburn, but it ain't that. It ain't that. That's what I'm saying. Like, you're going to, if I say what I need to say to answer honestly, you're going to jump to heartburn. And I'm telling you, to quote my wife, I know what heartburn is, bud. I've had heartburn off and on for tons and tons. Hey, yeah, welcome, nerd. I know what heartburn is. Trust me. I know it ain't heartburn. Mm-hmm. So I need you to tell me if it's my heart attacking.
Well, they really I've never been listened to, I think, at a medical experience, because when I had my gallbladder taken out finally, and I had figured out what it was on my own back when the internet was hard to use. Yeah. And
back when it was basically a microfiche of like white papers on gallbladders. Okay.
My goodness. Yeah. And they said I had so many attacks that it had encased itself.
And
it was like an egg.
Yep. And there's a silver lining and everything, because he was like, oh, she has a lot of gallstones, but they haven't been able to escape because the scar tissue has literally kept them trapped in her gallbladder.
But I had gone to the doctor with stomach aches since forever. Yep. And they were like, oh, no, never heard of it.
I don't know. Could be woman stuff, no?
Yeah.
Right?
Always.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. As a man, I get listened to too much. Mm-hmm. I really feel like I could be having a heart attack. I'm like, I'm pretty sure it's just heartburn, guys. Let's all pump our brakes. I was doing, no, because that's like an old thing. Because my jaw's always like that. And I do always feel like kind of an elephant on my chest. So, I'm going to get out of here, guys. And they go, okay. Yeah. That makes sense. He knows himself. They would, and I go, hey, can I just write me a script for a couple things before I get out of here? I don't want to have to make 2 trips. My eyes get real dry. I'm going to tell you what my optometrist usually does. Do you mind writing that down? Okay, yeah, that's fine. I do get that. I'm like, I've always said, I feel like if I approach the cockpit of an airplane with enough confidence, they'd be like, oh, I thought this guy was supposed to be here. Like, that's not okay. Although that has been ruined, obviously. I've never got to step foot in a cockpit. I can't, because I'm always like, can I get in there? Mm-hmm. Please, I just want to sit for a second. Like, I just want to sit down in there and get a picture. And no, I don't want it to be a decommissioned plane.
Like it's the front of a monorail.
Yeah, it needs to be real. That's the thing. They're like, we can put you in like I don't know who's saying this to me at the shipyard. We can put you in one of these. I'm like, no, it needs to be operational. I need to feel that like energy. That little. I remember my dad, like whenever all his work trucks. There's a different energy. You hop up in a cab of a truck, a diesel, or like like one of these like frozen food trucks. You're like, And he goes, yeah, you can pop that little side one. No, you don't need to do that one. Do that side one. You want to get that air. I go, well, nothing else even has little side ones, you know? Oh, yeah, you're in there like, oh, okay. It just seemed like there's a lot more mechanisms at play. And that's just a car, so I want to get up in there. There's CB radio. There's nothing more fun as a kid than if your dad had a legit CB radio. Mm-hmm. Oh, man, be on that thing. They never respond. They're like, please get this kid off of here.
Unless you get Candy Cane on there.
Yeah. Candy cane. I got that pink champagne and you order candy cane.
If you get it.
If you get it, you get it. If you don't, you don't.
I can't even
If you know, you know?
Yeah.
You can't think of the movie?
I can picture it, but I don't know the name of it.
I do. But I'll leave it. That's for them.
Is it Joyride?
It is.
Oh, dang. I didn't know it. Yeah.
Candy cane. I could watch Joyride.
Yeah, I know. I don't know why that stuck with us so much. Well, I guess every movie did.
Honestly,
back when we were young.
Yeah, man. Because I think about that movie Wrong Turn. That was like one of our first dates. I think like it was like one of our first dates.
It was probably that summer we started dating.
Yeah.
At one point.
And I go, it's a good movie though. Like for like kind of the, you know, Hills Have Eyes, like sub slasher genre, which is like a bunch of bumpkins gonna grab you type of thing. Mm-hmm. I go, yeah, it's pretty good. It was shot well.
Mm-hmm. Didn't we see a couple of those movies that summer?
I'm
there
sure.
were a couple that came out.
It could have even been like The Hills Have Eyes, the remake or something, because that kind of stuff was definitely popping. Like, you know, once one thing works again, they're like, get it going. You know, let's get a bunch of like, like or whatever, like those kind, like where you just find yourself in like a homemade, you know, little prison cell thing made out of wood.
That reminds me of The Barbarian.
That
was such a good movie.
That was such a good movie. Man, my dream in life is I would love to get cast as the person who's like, oh, you don't want to go up there. Y'all going to Cow Hollows? You don't want to go to Cow Hollows. You'll get hollowed out up there. That's all I want. And they go, hey, thanks for coming out. And I go, hey, I'm so happy I won this contest. I would love that, though. I go, let's really like... Yeah, that's true. You can't just come out and talk like no. That's always part of the fun of that scene. It's like he's always on one of the female leads, and then he's like, "Hey, you gotta be careful up there."
No, I don't like this.
Yeah, see, yeah, you'd be like, okay, and then you get in the car and they all laugh, and then you realize like he was just, and that also shows like when you're kind of off-putting. Do you just tap like a better looking charismatic person and have them do the information? In real life, would you be like, where's Greg from accounting? He's handsome. Like have him tell them. But there really are problems. The building's about to collapse. They go, okay.
House of Wax. Did that come out that year too?
It was probably around that time. House of Wax was a bomb movie. Mm-hmm. It really was. Remember how much people, and this really shows like how time heals all wounds, because I don't think anybody has any beef with Paris Hilton. I think they realized how ridiculous it was, how awful they were to her. Like I get she's like a rich kid, but I feel like they were really terrible to them because of that show with her and what is it, Nicole Richie? But remember like the eruption in the theater when her character dies? I mean, they literally like, it was huge. It was like a huge pop. Just the fact that she died on screen.
Why? Because they didn't like her?
They didn't like her. That's why it was also simultaneously like a really smart casting, because they're like, oh yeah.
I thought she got cast because she was popular.
Yes, but she was also unpopular, so it's like one of those perfect things where it's like
unpopular. I had no idea.
Yeah. Well, that's good. See, it was like pre-internet there, but it's not doing what the internet does now, where like it just puts it in your face. So, I guess I don't know, probably just hearing stuff, going like, yeah, they're really not feeling her, but lots of people are, so it's a perfect cast.
Yeah.
Great movie. I feel like that's a movie that feels like it was kind of shot around Florida or something. I know Jeepers Creepers was. Jeepers Creepers, oh man. I wish I liked that movie more. I really do, although the director's a piece of garbage, but I wish I liked that movie more. Because one night when I was coming home out in, not Wildwood, it's like Lake Penn or one of these like little tweener towns, but I was coming back and I happened to be running low on gas and I see this gas station, and in hindsight I go, oh, I should have known this wasn't a gas station because it looked very run down, and I had never been to, and I'd been out there tons of times before, but I thought, I'm going to run out of gas or whatever. I pull over and I just hear somebody go like, no, are you kidding? And I realize finally when somebody comes over and they're like, this is a movie set. And I'm like, what? Oh. Start just doing the 8 seconds to everybody. They're like, what is this? And they're like, no. And you know what sucks is now that I know more about movies, I go, that wasn't even the director yelling at me. At best, that was first AD. Director's not gonna.
Where was everyone hiding?
They were on the other side, like kind of so the building and everything. It's almost like the way they were shooting, the building didn't matter. So I guess everything was set up that direction. Like as far as like I just drove right past it. ADHD, baby. I was literally going, how do these pumps work? Because they looked old. That's where like the kind of, because you have like 1,000 thoughts
Justin
at once.
Long there?
I saw no one. I don't know. Maybe. Justin Long could have been there. I forget who the female lead in that was. But I don't know. I didn't see. I really still to this day, if you said describe one single person that was on, like that was yelling at me, all I remember seeing is bright lights and hearing, no, you gotta be kidding me. And it struck me. I go, whose voice is this in this environment? This isn't what voices who yell at you around here sound like. No. It was just so like flat. Like, I don't know. I was just like, nah, I don't know.
It was the guy who does the psh, no.
I just straight up was like, I know that was not the director. The director's not going to waste his time yelling at some townie who's like happened upon the set. Mm-hmm. You know, it's probably like a grip and then the first AD.
Okay.
I just really would have liked it better if it would have been like a director or higher or a star. Can you imagine if it was like the big thing? But in my defense, I go, there wasn't a single soul in any way stopping me from pulling all the way up to that place. Mm-hmm. Like there wasn't one thing to indicate. I was like, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
You'd close that whole thing. You know what I mean? You'd be like, don't come here. It's a very easy road to close. You could have just shut that like lane down or something. It's a nothing road. Mm-hmm. But that was always fun.
That's a cool story.
Yeah. Jeepers creepers.
Cool story, bro.
Where'd you get those peepers? That's what we'll be saying after we get our plastic surgery to replace our eyeballs. I don't know if this is true or not, but I saw that people were like dyeing their eyes. But I'm not sure because I'm not interested in it at all. I don't want to say that and it'd be like, oh, you saw a video that's very clearly fake or something. Mm-hmm. I didn't look any further into it. But I was like, if it's possible, I believe people would do it. So I was like, I don't know, maybe.
Well, they could just wear contacts.
That would seem safer.
Seem easier.
Easier and definitely safer, right? Mm-hmm. Like you're like, yeah, what does it matter? Also, what does it matter? Like if somebody goes, well, they like people with blue eyes, I go, right, and if your contacts make your eyes blue, what's the issue? Mm-hmm. You know? We're all doing something. That's why I don't understand when people get real like saucy with people. Like when they're like, I can't believe you did XYZ or you're doing, you know, like you're using Ozempic or you did this or you got to know. I go, why? We're all doing something. Mm-hmm. You know, everybody's doing something. Mm-hmm. Come on. If we weren't doing anything, we'd be walking around nude all the time, right? We'd be our absolute truest selves. We go, that's what it does to you. What I do to what I do to my body, that's what it does to you. There you go. That's what this all looks like. And that's what you all look like. Well, look at us. Aren't we all truth tellers? But no, instead we put on clothes and, you know, we try to trick. I'm always like doing this. I try to get you away from my stomach. I go, oh, hey, what's up? Hey. I keep eyes up here. But I don't know. I saw a story talking about like how hard it is to get medical attention. Mm-hmm. This guy robbed a bank, non-gun or anything crazy, just passed a note like, hey, I'm robbing the bank. And then literally just waited until they hit the alarm and just waited and had intentionally, come to find out, got arrested just because he had health issues and he didn't know what else to do. Didn't want to hurt anybody, didn't want to scare anybody, just wanted to go to jail so he could at least get treated. And I said,
that's incredibly sad.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy too because you think, I don't think this healthcare system is good for rich people here either. So what's the...
No, because if it really were like, all right, so you're rich, you want to protect your money, right? Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, that's one of their favorite things to do. The rich, the squirrels of the world. If you think about it, right? Mm-hmm. If you think about it, is that smart? The rich, the squirrels of the world. Because they're just out here.
Is that smart?
Is that smart? because they're out here burying their little nuts, just waiting to grab them later. But I go, they love to protect an asset. Oh, I love to protect an asset. They sit around all day. I love to protect an asset. Cognac. Or whatever. But it is shocking that the way they get good health care is, I go, you have to pay a fortune for like concierge medicine, right? You have to give insane amounts of money to a hospital, which seems nice and is, but it's also like, because like we worked in a hospital system, like it does guarantee you that you will be treated incredibly different than anyone else. And if any of us poppers were going to say anything, it's like, well, what am I going to say? You literally are the reason we have the CT machine that caught the thing. You know what I mean? It's like, well, okay, go around to get around. But I go, if it were really good for you, would you have to do all that? If it were truly good, would we need you to even do that part?
No.
That's the thing. I go, it's still not good. I think it's funny that I go, a bad system is truly bad for everyone. It's just varying levels of bad. And again, that bad system for them is like, if I'm like, please let them protect their assets. I don't want to think about my overlords losing their assets. Oh, rich, the squirrels of the world. Please help us financially. Got any stock? That's all I say whenever I go around town. And I just go, all it's going to take is one person to go, what? And I go, got any stock?
But you're saying it like, are you being Steve Urkel?
I am. It's like, got any cheese?
I know, but he
got any cheese?
That's how he says that.
Got any stock? That's better.
Yeah.
Got any stock? The rich, the squirrels of the world. Oh, I hope I get some stock. What, like something finally happens with this and they go, we're sponsored today by stock. I don't understand it, but they tell me it's important. I don't know. Contacts. Yeah, the guy went to prison. And I'm like, yeah, that's okay. You know, that seems like, I mean, it's a solution, you know, it's like,
I mean, it really is the only solution, but
it's not the only one. It's certainly not the I feel like there's probably a few other, I feel like that is somebody who goes like, if he would have had just one person who's like, well, maybe let me Google it a little bit. Let me kick around a Goog. Because there could be like a not-for-profit or something. He's like, I already went to prison. They're like, oh, okay, gotcha. I was just going to Google it.
I don't know. I don't think there's that many other ways to get it taken care of.
Yeah, that's fair. And you know what? Maybe he's happier. Like maybe if it's like a low-key prison experience, you know, this is the most American conversation. It's like, yeah, maybe if being imprisoned is pretty chill. Because like all my uncles like have varying degrees of like prison stories where like, and every single one of them will be like, you know what was kind of fun though? The camaraderie. You know, it was nice. It was like y'all had a common enemy, the guards, and y'all had a common problem. The food sucks, in the violence, the horrendous violence. But most of them are like, yeah, not that violent, you know. Just hijinks, really. And I was like, I think it might be more than hijinks. Might be a little more than hijinks. But I also wonder, why didn't they all come out with like perfect teeth or something? Like, get that work done. Mm-hmm. I would have been in there just getting degrees or whatever. You know, they always show you like, I got 3 degrees in here. Mm-hmm. Although my one uncle did learn how to do HVAC. Mm-hmm. Turned his whole life around. That sounds like a joke. Turned his whole life around. Learned how to do HVAC, literally. I think also getting off drugs, but it was mostly the HVAC. It was mostly learning that because I go, yeah, he came out and he actually like was, I mean, in Florida, like you can make okay money doing them. Mm-hmm. And I know there are people who are like, why are they doing that? And I go, what do we want to do? What do we want to do? The whole point, is to rehabilitate, give an opportunity. A lot of people are in prison because of opportunities, like, you know, heck, this guy's willing to go get medicine there. Mm-hmm. You know, it's a lack of like stuff a lot of the time. I don't know, bummed us out. I'm sorry.
Yeah, how do we fix it? I don't know.
What do you mean?
Or did we just fix it by letting everyone know about it?
Oh, you mean fixing the problem?
Yeah.
I thought you meant on the show. You're like, how do I fix it? I go, I guess you just cut that stuff out. Just thinking about like, you know, self-care stuff, and that encapsulates a large thing, group of things. And then you have like, plastic surgery, and then of course like actual medicine where you're in need of it. I think another little tweener is like fad stuff. Fad diets.
Like yo-yo dieting.
Yeah.
Which I had seen my family did.
I've been a yo-yo dieter many a times. Mm-hmm. It's really hard. It's almost uncomfortable when you've been a yo-yo dieter for like your whole life that you can really think of. It's uncomfortable when you are just staying the same. Like I have put on weight that I'm not comfortable with, but I've also been at about the same weight for a very long time. Mm-hmm. And I feel it's weird. Like mentally, it feels very odd to just kind of stay the same, to not be losing or not be gaining.
Yeah. Same.
It's crazy, right?
Yeah.
What are some of the fad things you saw as a kid?
The cabbage soup diet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a big one. What was it, like 10 days of just cabbage soup or something like that?
And it's like, what, in 10 days you're going to be changed? No.
You're going to have lost some water weight, that's for sure.
My aunt, I was staying at my aunt's for like a week for the summer, and she was doing it, and I was like, I hate this.
Did you have it too?
I had it, and I thought it was okay the first day, and then it was like kind of,
starts to wear on you. Yeah. And I know how long I've been like thinking like this, because I remember I read a book by like a married couple that were doctors or nutritionists or something. And I think back on this book and I go, I was maybe 9 to 11 years old. I read it in Florida. So it was like on a vacation before I actually moved there. And it was basically like rules of like eat fruit until a certain time of day. It was like all that. And I go, God, you were already worried about that? Like you were already like, okay, what do I do here? I think that was probably the biggest problem. I think if I would have just avoided that would have been hugely helpful. I don't know. Is that everybody, you think, to some degree? I think there's like probably a small percentage of people that came out pretty clean as far as like the eating stuff. Like that's not their thing that they have to deal with.
I'd say very small, yeah.
Yeah.
I can't think of anybody I know that doesn't at some point in their, in their life have maybe even if they don't like notice it or realize it, have something with food.
Yeah. Well, I remember I said to a friend who was like about a year, I think the reason it came up was like he was like a year sober from Coke. Mm-hmm. And I go, yeah, I know, cocaine, it's a big thing. But I said, oh no, I totally get it, man. Like, I'm addicted to food. And he scoffed at it. He was like, and I was like, actually, I was being nice. Like, it's much harder to be addicted to food than cocaine. Like, first off, no one's ever going to, in regular life, offer you cocaine. Like, you have to go out of your way to be offered cocaine.
I've never been offered cocaine.
Ever.
Not one time.
Not one time. I know people who do cocaine and nobody, which is kind of, it's like, I'm not going to do it, but geez Louise.
I'm a good time.
But I'm like, yeah. And I always go, all right, I'm recording for the police. What were you saying? Cocaine. Okay, got it. But I was like, what? I was like, when I stand in line to try to get healthy food, I have to look at bad food. Like nowhere is it going to be that you go to do a thing and they're just like cocaine. Also, if you have a problem with cocaine, you don't ever have to do it again. Mm-hmm. You can abstain the rest of your life and live a full life. No one's going to say like, well, there's a few different ways to do your daily cocaine that you have to do. You can do like one big line of cocaine at the end of the day. You could not have cocaine until like 1 p.m. and then not have any cocaine after 7 p.m. and just do a lot of little cocaines. It's like, no, you can just never do cocaine again. Mm-hmm. It is possible. I can't not eat food. So if food is your addiction, eating food's kind of triggering to it sometimes. So you're like, oh, sorry, I celebrate everything with food. And
no, I can't not eat sweet treats.
Gotta eat the sweet treats. Oh,
I never even was really a sweet treat person.
Golly. In the last decade, geez Louise, I don't remember being such a sweet treat person, but I am like, love a bakery. I don't know. There's something, there must just be something about being in the workforce this long. You go, I got to get some type of croissant. Jeez. And these croissants are next level. Like where I'm from, you do a croissant like this, pop. You pop it on the thing and then you bake it in the oven. So these croissants, ay. You imagine French people when they see that.
Does it look like the Italians? But I'm like, spaghetti.
Yeah. I got to make the spaghetti fit. Oh, no. Oh,
That's why I get it already spin up.
And I can't even understand it if an Italian person's like, here's why you don't break it. I go, but if it makes it fit, I mean, I'm going to chomp it. I'm going to chomp it with these chompers though. No, it doesn't matter. Get it in there however you can get it in there. Yeah, pop a croissant and then lay them out. You know what's funny though? I go, have a French person try those croissants. Have a Pillsbury croissant.
Oh my gosh.
Have a Pillsbury croissant.
No.
You're not going to think it's a croissant, but you're going to think it's delicious. They chemically engineered it so. You're not getting out unscathed. Why
Maybe
do you?
those flaky biscuits, but I don't know about the croissant.
Croissants were bomb. Oh, Lordy. Get a croissant and wrap it in a little smoky. Wrap a little smoky in it. Yeah. Picking a blanket? Yeah, come on. Mm-hmm. Buttery. Mm-hmm. And here's the thing. Here's how you know it's bad. I go, how's it buttery? Can we talk about that? How's it buttery?
Well, why wouldn't it be? It's not cooked yet. It's
right.
got the butter and the dough ready to be cooked.
It's just, but isn't that kind of a weird thing to just have it sat there, just glistening with butter, but not cooked?
I don't know.
I do. I think
it seems okay. It's good. You didn't pop it yet.
Yeah, I guess I haven't popped it. I haven't popped the thing. Yeah, I guess that's okay. We popped most of our food. You know,
in the microwave.
Yeah, it was popping in a microwave. I mean, most of my meals were like Hamburger Helper. You know, I honestly, if you were popping something, that would have been like a special occasion. That wasn't going to be a nightly thing. Nightly was like good old fashioned white bread. Like I told you, I was like, I have so many like odd fond memories of my dad with a napkin stuffed in his shirt, watching TV, just sopping up whatever au jus from whatever casserole that my mom had made while telling stories and joking. I can just see it so clearly in my head. Just those last, and I go, that's just white bread. This man didn't even get a biscuit. He didn't get a.
No.
And those are like under $1 now.
But do you think health, you don't get as good of food when you're not in a wealthier area.
Oh, absolutely.
You are limited so much to what food you're getting.
100%.
I really felt that when we lived in North Carolina.
Yeah.
That the food wasn't as fresh as it is here. You know,
and not as easy to come by. There's a lot of fast food everywhere.
Yeah.
I completely get that because everywhere I grew up was like that. Mm-hmm. Like there were very few sit-down restaurants where I grew up. Mm-hmm. It was mostly pull through a window. Yeah, sure they have an inside if you want to sit, but you know, almost everything could just be got through a window in your car. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I mean, I totally get it. And I grew up in households like, yeah, vegetable mattered, but it came out of a can. You know what I mean? It wasn't a big, I feel like there's a little bit of like panache to fresh vegetables. Mm-hmm. Like there's just a little show, but also kids don't want them. Mm-hmm. You can make a kid the most beautiful Brussels sprout. As a kid, think about somebody handing you a beautiful Brussels sprout as a kid.
If I had Brussels sprouts and asparagus and things like that we cook now, as a kid, I think I would have liked the taste.
I don't know. I don't think I would have. I think my taste buds just weren't developed to that level yet. Mm-hmm. Because
like a crispy fried Brussels sprout, you don't think you would like that?
I don't think so. I don't think I would have liked the actual flavor. I just think I was like, I mean, I'm over here mashing Pop-Tarts and Tostino's pizza rolls. I just don't think it could be computed at that point. Uh-huh. I think it was
wishful thinking.
It was too under processed. I'd be like, oh, this ain't even done yet. This needs to go through the factory and have a bunch of process to it. That's not good at all. That needs to already have butter compacted on it and dusted in sugar granules. I can't eat this. I can't choke this down. Ugh. Like I was just eating weird stuff. You know, that's one of my favorite snacks because we always had it in the house was white bread covered in Hormel no bean chili that I heated up on the bread in the microwave and would just go to town on that.
You know, I take that face I just made back because I used to just put Mexican cheese in a bowl and put it in the microwave and then eat that. So.
Just eat the cheese? Mm-hmm. Didn't you also cook eggs in the microwave, which I thought was lunacy?
Yeah. Well, it's mix them up.
I know, but I didn't even know people did that. I was like, what? An egg? I was always so scared of eggs. Like I was like, you can't be messing around with eggs. You got to really make sure that's cooked. So maybe that's why I get pop it.
Maybe that's why I get eggs so often.
Yeah. There's so many bad meals. I used to do like kind of a charcuterie, which was just like really cheap, Save-A-Lot deli meat. And I would make my own honey mustard, but we didn't have honey. That's a rich people thing. We had syrup. So I'd make honey syrup. And then I dip meats and cheeses in it.
Syrup.
I put syrup in. I'm sorry, I put syrup in the mustard. Sorry,
mustard.
Yeah, syrup,
like
mustard,
yellow mustard,
yeah.
and then syrup.
And then I just eat deli meat and like off a block of cheese. We're a block of cheese people. When I saw, honestly, you talk about leveling up. My level ups were so easy. I go, oh, that cheese already grated. Yeah, that's already grated. Now it's funny. You get to a certain level, they go backwards. They go, that's already graded. Ugh. You got to be busting that down live and in person.
Are you zesting it?
Yep. You got to zest that thing. Isn't that funny? It's like stuff that I remember thinking like, gosh, we can't even get like pre-sliced stuff. Like it's always like, just putting it together yourself. We had a cheese slicer. I ain't seen a cheese slicer in forever. Yeah. Probably since I moved out of like the house as a kid. It's like, but then you do hit this level now where like that is wealth. Wealth is like, how hard is that cheese? It's hard. You have to have a cobbler's chisel to get into that. You have to be like, Michelangelo, who wants this? Pepperoncini.
Well, you have leveled up. I mean, you have all that cheese from the farmer's market that we didn't eat.
Yeah.
Because I don't really like cheese. Kind
of forgot about it.
Obligated to be cool.
I do
cheese.
have an apple butter in there, and I did get that because it made me think of my dad too. Because I was like, he did love some apple butter. And I have not had apple butter in forever. I haven't even tried it. That's how little interest I actually had in it. It just sits in there. Just sits in there. I love the stuff you just buy just to throw away. You're just like, bye, old friend.
Yeah.
You were aspirational, and I'm just not there yet, and that's okay.
Yeah.
I'm not microgreens yet.
You bought that when you were playing your volleyball game,
I said, man, I'm just putting microgreens on everything. You guys doing microgreens on that? Huh? Microgreens. Itty bitties? They're tiny whinies? No? Okay. Teeny weenies? All right. Never ate them. Don't even know how to really do them. I love them on a sandwich. A lot of stuff I go, you got to do it for me. I don't understand this. I can't be putting this stuff together. I'm not a chef, and I don't have the confidence when making a sandwich to throw a bunch of microgreens on it. It feels absurd to me. But when they do it, I go, okay, must be correct. Right? It's like somebody in Japan making the blowfish for me. I go, that's way different than me going, I think I got it. I bet I get it.
That's the same as putting microgreens on your sandwich. Cutting it wrong would kill you. Putting microgreens on
could be
gross.
Could be crazy gross. I don't know. Am I supposed to take the root system off? Am I supposed to wash them once more? I don't know the rules on these things. That's why they say health is wealth, but I think they forget to say like wealth, it's much easier to have health. You know what I mean? Health is wealth. I go, that's really fun to say to people who don't have any means. You know what I mean? Like that walking's not built into their community. Food that is good for you is expensive and hard to find. You know what I mean? Like all this kind of thing. I'm like, it'd be nice to. That's why I really respect like the people that are like, hey, we're doing like a community garden. Like they're making access, or people who open. I really like when I see like people open restaurants and places that don't normally get the type of cuisine they're given, and they find a way to make. To me, that's the artistry of being a chef. I go, it really is like one, being a restaurateur where you have a concept and you're like excited to go into a community that is underserved in some way, but you're going to bridge the gap of like where they're probably at, because like I said, this isn't like the way I eat now is so different than the way I grew up, and it didn't start like down, and then immediately it was like gradually you try stuff, you get comfortable with stuff, you realize you like stuff, So I think that's really interesting how a chef and a restaurateur will like bridge that gap. They go, we're gonna elevate some of your local dishes that you know and love, but we're gonna do it in a way that's like very healthy and stuff. I think that's awesome. I really do. I think those are the things that make like everything is art in some way or another if you care about it.
Yes.
That's one of the things I really admire and respect about like Japanese culture is just like they really give a lot of credence to just like the act of trying to perfect something. Like the joy that comes from like doing good at anything seems to matter in that culture. And I think that's like such a good thing to remember. I think I think it is important to remember like our motto is always like permission to suck. So I don't mean to make yourself stressed out, but I think it's almost like a lot of times I find that people, and I've certainly felt this, it's like you're almost conditioned to feel embarrassed if you were to try hard at something that wasn't like some top tier, oh my gosh, you've made it type thing. Like if you're bagging groceries and you actually care, it's almost like you're concerned that people would look down on that. And I think that's so like wrong. I just think that's so incorrect. Like even when we lived in LA and you'd have like a server that clearly was like had aspirations of being an actor or an actress, and they were just terrible at it and had an attitude. And I was like, think about that for a second. Like if a producer comes in here, everything matters. Like why not crush it at this? Because they're going to go, wow, this person really stood out to me, because that's a form of like charisma and confidence. To me, I always tried hard at stuff as best I could, because I was like, to me, that made me feel more confident in the bigger dreams. I was like, I'm not so insecure in my dreams and aspirations that I need to like act out in my day-to-day obligations. I feel like some people were so spicy all the time. And I was like, I don't know how, if somebody actually came in here that could change your life, I just don't know that it's reading the way you want it to. Because I'd go, I don't know, like you don't seem to be an effort person. Right?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I agree.
I think
totally agree with
it's
that.
a long walk, but I was always like, I don't know. I think there's something about finding joy in the small things, being good at them or great at them if you can, even if you have bigger things.
Well, I agree. I think that Japanese culture also is a little bit better at being present in their life and their journey of life. They're like, okay, this is the life. I need to enjoy it or experience it.
Yeah.
I think for me, the permission to suck kind of mantra that we did gave me a break from only trying things I thought I would be good at. Yeah. Getting out of perfectionism.
Even like this, like making this is a huge step for people like us, because I also have that, like, oh, if it can't be great, then we can't do it. And I go, you can't get great at something if you can't do it. You know, if you don't give yourself any permission to learn and get better at something, you know, it's why I'm so excited to be doing this with you, because I go, okay, you know, we're going to do it till forever. So hopefully people join us along the way. But if not, okay. You know, I'm enjoying the conversations and having fun doing it. Right? Do it with intention. Give ourselves permission to suck. My God, give ourselves permission to suck. At least at remembering to turn stuff on and actually get it recorded in any format. And still we persist. Here we are, recording stuff.
Any more thoughts, feelings, jokes?
No, I think that's good for me.
All right. I love you.
I love you too, babe.
Bye.
Bye.
We didn't hit record. We didn't hit record.